September 25th, 2022. Giorgia Meloni, the leader of the Italian hard right, has just won a landslide in the elections. A victory that opened the gates to power in Italy. 3 years later, her government is enjoying a rare longevity in a country often afflicted by political crises. Outside Palazzo Chigi, the seat of the executive, her popularity remains solid.
She is a credible woman. She has the strength to govern, and she does it well.
She's given the country stability.
She's a woman who forges ahead. I hope she stays with us for longer.
The government's principal achievement, the spectacular decrease in the national deficit. In 2022, it exceeded 8% of GDP. This year, it should fall to 3%. Thanks to a reduction in public spending, an increase in fiscal revenue, but also a drop in interest rates on the sovereign debt.
One of the reasons public finances are under control is that the cost of the Italian public debt, which is huge, has greatly diminished in the last few months. And that saves an estimated 5 to 8 billion euros per year.
But despite these positive results, many Italians cannot see a concrete improvement in their daily lives. Like Fabrizio, a contract worker. Today, he and his wife have come to this food bank in order to feed their 3 children.
The cost of food has skyrocketed. It's more and more difficult for us, and without a fixed salary, we can't make ends meet. So I had to ask for help.
Today, almost 6 million people live below the poverty line in Italy. That is nearly 10% of the population, an increase since 2023.
We distribute food and staples to 400 families a week. Before, we had more immigrants asking for help from our association, but over the past few years, more and more Italians are coming to us.
The country is also going through a productivity crisis, a consequence of inflation and some of the highest energy prices in Europe. This factory has seen its production costs shoot up since the outbreak of war in Ukraine.
We're going through a cascade of increases in our production costs because our suppliers have also suffered from the hike in gas and electricity prices, and so they pass on their problems by increasing the prices.
Businesses in the country have also been hit by a shortage of labour. An olive oil producer has come to this agricultural union to get help finding personnel.
I'm looking for workers.
We have the possibility to request workers from abroad.
Meloni's government plans to issue 500,000 visas to non-European workers by 2028, an unexpected position for the hard-right leader who promised to close the borders.
We send a request in the name of the business to the Interior Ministry to get the green light for the visa. Once the visa has been issued, the worker has between 1 and 6 months to enter Italian territory.
This farm in the Piedmont region, in the north of Italy, has recruited several agricultural workers through this process. The manager welcomes this government initiative.
We're forced to call on foreign workers because we can't find people locally. I mean Italians. It's a shame. And so we're grateful this procedure exists because without it, we'd be in a crisis.
But the initiative seems insufficient. The country needs over 1 million additional workers. That is nearly twice as many as the government quotas. For this immigration lawyer, the measure does not help control illegal immigration either. Quite the contrary.
4 out of 5 foreign workers don't get their final papers, and they're undocumented. The result, they become illegal immigrants in Italy, and that fosters undeclared employment here. It's a sick system that has not been well managed by the Meloni government.
On the international stage, Giorgia Meloni has surprised a number of political observers, as she was a diehard Eurosceptic who has now become an active partner in Brussels.
Giorgia Meloni has shown herself to be very pragmatic and realistic. She's understood that the country has obligations with the EU, the financial markets, and with NATO that one can't break the name of ideology. That's why, in a few months before winning the election, she started to shift, becoming more moderate. She's governing like the head of a moderate right-wing government.
Unlike other extreme right-wing leaders in Europe, Giorgia Meloni has shown unfailing support for Ukraine.
Before diplomacy comes dissuasion. I've always said, I consider that support for Ukraine, meaning re-establishing an equilibrium between Ukraine and Russia, is the precondition to achieve peace.
On the domestic front, Giorgia Meloni is taking advantage of the divisions in the left-wing opposition. The leader of the hard right in Italy appears set to remain in power until the end of her mandate in 2027.